however he may be listening, wherever he may be listening. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the All Cardinals podcast. My name is Donnie Drew, joined every week by my main man, Richie Bradshaw. And today we're going to do a 2-round mock draft post NFL Combine. We have pro days ahead. We still have the entire draft process ahead of us. We're about a little under 2 months removed from late April, where the Arizona Cardinals will be making their 2 first-round selections and obviously another selection at the top of the order in the second round. Before we get into it, Richie, how are you, man?
I'm pretty good, Donnie. We are a little under a week away from free agency, so we're looking at all sorts of changes. That's going to give us some fresh stuff to talk about for the Cardinals, and there's some big free agents on the market that we're hoping they're going to be able to get. But obviously, we're here to talk about the draft today, and the Cardinals have, a handful of picks.
Yeah, no,
Just a
just
small
6 in the
handful.
first 3 rounds, double digits in total, right? Nothing crazy.
Yeah, some really good premium picks that we're going to go through today.
I do like how you brought up free agency because there's a lot of philosophies on whether teams should go through free agency, whether teams should go through the draft. And I think if you're Monty Ossenfort entering year number 2 of a rebuild, I think everybody's very, very impressed of what they've been able to do under his tutelage. But, can you keep it going? And I think long term, really how you want to build this thing is, I think a lot of people can agree, you build through the draft, but you plug holes through free agency. And then obviously the Cardinals having, I think they're number 8 in total cap space for the NFL right now, a little over 56 million. Some of that has to be used for the upcoming draft class, which, currently 10 picks right now, could be 11 or 12, depending on the comp picks. Then obviously you want like 4 or 5 just to have in a bank in case midseason you need to pull it out for whatever reason. But nonetheless, like holes are going to be filled in the free agency market, which could kind of tell us where they plan on going through the draft. But obviously, we do not have that hindsight quite yet. So today we're going to go through Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator, go through 2 rounds. The Cardinals will have 3 picks originally. We might trade down. We might see what we like, what we don't like, but you never really know. So let me share my screen here. I always feel like an old man whenever it comes to like technology, like what we can do. So 2-round mock draft. We're going to set the speed on slow so we can kind of talk and BS. We're obviously the Arizona Cardinals, who pick at number 4 and then number 27, thanks to the trade with the Houston Texans from last season. Any thoughts and any expectations for this mock draft before we get going?
I don't think so. I just think we're gonna be in a really good scenario to add some best player availables, and we can always flirt around and see what teams could be interested in trading up and whatnot. This is one where we have to build our own trades, but it'll still be noteworthy when pick 4 comes up to see who wants to move up.
100%. And I think the Cardinals are really in like a win-win scenario, just in terms of what they can do and, what they should be able to do. I don't think there's a whole lot of quote unquote wrong ways to go about this. Receiver, tackle, I mean, like trading down, sticking, like there's a lot of really good things that can come out of this draft. So, we'll stop talking and we'll start doing. The Bears obviously on the clock at number 1. We're thinking Caleb, right? It's pretty much the consensus now. There's a little smoke they could or couldn't go Caleb, but I think after Combine, everybody settled on him going to the Windy City.
Oh,
Okay, well, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Jaden more than anything might kind of.
okay. This
Yeah,
mock goes right in the trash.
yep, just right away. Okay, this is a mock, right? For whatever reason, if Jaden Daniels is available for the Cardinals at number 4, I mean, we've got 7 teams calling the phones right now for us trying to trade up everywhere from 8 to 32. If I'm the Cardinals, I really want to try to stick in the top 10, which for me limits it to Atlanta and Chicago. Do you have a different line of thought here?
No, not at all. I absolutely agree. This is one of those drafts, Donnie, where you do have a ton of picks, but some of the mentality that I have when it comes to a ton of picks is I want to see you be aggressive and I want to see you move up for guys. You can draft 12 guys, that's cool and all, but if you walked away drafting 9 guys that you loved, then I think that you should be doing that. So for the Cardinals here, especially in a draft that's got 7, 8, 9, 10 elite players, you should be looking to stay inside the top 10, see what you can get for the future, and then still walk away with an elite player. So they are Atlanta and Chicago would really be the only teams I'm flirting with right now because, like you said, they are still in the top 10, and it gives me an opportunity to still land an elite player.
So, is there any thought to sticking, even though the trade offers are going to be ringing throughout the phones? Um, would you be upset if they stuck and still got a premium player? We saw them trade down last year and bypass Will Anderson Jr. Granted, they ended up with Paris Johnson Jr. and then obviously an extra first round pick this year on top of other draft capital that they got from trades with both the Texans and they moved up with the Lions. Um, I wouldn't be upset if they stuck here and took quote unquote their guy because we like to use that Family Guy analysis a lot, right? Um, you know, we could have a boat, but this box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You don't want to bypass somebody you really, really love. In that case, that could be Marvin Harrison Jr. That could be somebody else.
No, this is one of those situations where I don't think you were expecting one of the three quarterbacks to be available, so you definitely listen to calls. But in real
Ooh.
life, when we are anticipating it to go 1, 2, 3 on quarterbacks, unless someone is just going to blow you away, I think you stay put here. And this would be the situation right now where Jaden Daniels is available and you could listen to Atlanta have a conversation about moving up. But I really think that with Marvin Harrison Jr., unless like you're getting multiple like first round picks or something like that, I think it
Well,
would be difficult to move.
let's see about it, right? Let's talk to Atlanta. They would be willing to include their first round pick for moving up from number 8 to number 4. I mean, like, is it possible the Cardinals have guys such as like Neighbors or Dunze or Ald or Fashanu like that closely together graded to where they would be okay moving down because they're still going to get one of the top players on their board anyway?
You could, because I think it's consensusly agreed at this point that Marvin Harrison Jr. is a transcend really good talent. And you would be very happy to add him and you would be upset to miss on him, but you're not exactly lacking in top tier talent when you have Alt, when you have Doomsday, when you have Dallas Turner and some other guys. Like the Cardinals could move down and still end up with a blue chip player. It's just that you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who is such a great talent.
Yeah, I'm looking at Atlanta right now. They'll give us a first, and then they'll give us 74. Am I being greedy? Do I need a little bit more than this if I'm moving down from 4
Oh
to
no,
number
you
8?
need more. This is one of those mocks that it's going to be difficult for Atlanta to move that much capital, but if you're coming up for your franchise quarterback, then I got news for you.
Yep.
You are giving up a ton of ammo to me,
Well,
even for 4 picks.
let's explore Chicago. They already got their guy in Drake May. They're probably trying to come up from Marvin. We're dropping down one more pick in the top 10, which is still pretty significant in terms of what they want to do. I know they just tagged Jalen Johnson. I would really like to try to get him in a trade. What are you thinking?
So you get 2 firsts and a Jalen Johnson right now. And
We're gonna have to give something back to.
I see what they think about a third round pick.
Okay, we'll give him like Tennessee's. Okay, we can kind of get away with the Houston pick right here.
I think
Mm,
I would do that. Move in 4 and 90. You get a so here's the way I think about it. You get a future first for Chicago moving up 5 spots, and then you give up pick 90 for Jalen Johnson.
okay.
I think I
You,
can justify that.
yeah. Would you be upset at all trying to throw in a late round pick just to like sweeten the deal? Although like that's not even really moving. That's not moving the needle for them. 137. That's still kind of high for me too.
Yeah, that'd be too high.
I'm cool. I don't know. Okay.
I think I would try that. I don't know if I'm willing to give up. more than one pick here.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try it. Figured. Okay.
Bastards.
At this point, are we sticking? Are we sticking and taking a player?
I think so. I
Okay.
think you
Yeah.
take MHJ at this point.
Okay. Yeah. There's other teams you could possibly wheel and deal with. I mean, Indianapolis, LA. But if we're going from dropping down 4 or 5 spots to double-digit numbers, we're gonna need a haul. And if they want to pick up the phone and wheel and deal, awesome. But I mean, we're gonna ask a lot. A lot of good players here available. Do we need to talk about this a whole lot?
No, Marvin Harrison Jr. is available. You take that, and you tell BJ Ojulari to change his damn number.
Oh man, alt goes at number 5. Byron Murphy. Yeah, I just don't see the draft panning out this way, man.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Brock Bowers in Atlanta with Kyle Pitts. That would be something crazy.
That would Brock Bowers and Kyle Pitts, man. That to me, if you do that, you are putting Kyle Pitts on the trade block.
Or you're trying to get the clock back 15 years. Jaden Daniels finally goes at number 14 to New Orleans, which is just I can't imagine if that happened for whatever reason. Like the Saints would sprint to the podium, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Also, I don't know if you saw Dallas Turner, who just went number 18. There's some talk about him going to the Cardinals at number 4. One league executive told The Athletic that if they stick there at number 4, they would take an edge rusher, and he's like the best available on the board. I just don't buy that happening.
No.
Obviously, anything can happen, but it's just crazy stuff. Olu.
Fashanu just went 24.
Do you think he falls that far?
Fashanu?
Yeah.
No. I think the lowest he goes is probably 14. I don't see it any more than that. I mean, he's still a very good player, man.
Okay. There's one player I really, really want on this list. You could probably guess who it is.
Yes.
4 teams trying to move up to 27. That's hilarious with Miami at number 53. We already pick early second round. I'm not crazy. I don't know. There's one blue chip guy right here who I would absolutely run to the podium at this moment. It would take a lot to get me to move off of this pick with Houston's pick. And especially like the soonest we can trade back is the Niners at 31. I'm not trying to help an NFC West rival move up, right?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
I refuse to make trades in the division.
Okay. I mean, like, if we weren't already picking pretty high, I definitely would entertain Carolina or New England, who might be trying to come up to get. I mean, like, what quarterbacks are available? Like a 5th year on like Bo or like Michael Penix. But I mean, I'm more than content with staying here.
Yeah, I don't have a problem staying here.
Okay, well,
so
that being said,
because I don't think you were anticipating Amarius Mims to be available at
this
time.
No, not at all. To be honest, man, I don't think he gets past Pittsburgh.
I don't think he's out of the top 15. Yeah.
Okay, well, in this super realistic mock draft, I mean, is there anybody else you would entertain here?
So if Mims wasn't available, I think you would have taken a look at Tyler Guyton.
Okay.
You could. No, the corners aren't great at this point.
I would be upset with Kool-Aid at this point.
Kool-Aid would be very interesting.
What do you think of Rakestraw?
Rakestraw, I would not mind him either. I would just want to see if I could potentially move down and still get him.
These 4 guys right here, I think, are realistic for the Cardinals at number 27.
Dude, Chop made himself a lot of money in Indianapolis.
He sure did.
I think that for a player that has seen his stock go from first round lock to end of round 2, I think he all but solidified at worst a top 40 selection.
Yeah.
No, if Mims wasn't available, looking at this, I probably go Tyler Guyton and just get my bookend. But Mims
I was going to say, you got Marvin. Now it's time to beef up the line. I wouldn't mind. Obviously, guys like Alton, Fashanu are really, really good. But correct me if I'm wrong, because you know this class a little bit better than I do. I mean, the talent of tackles near the end of round 1 is also pretty good.
I think it would warrant still passing up on Alt.
Okay.
because of the guys that are going to be available late. And I mean, it's not even just Mims and Guyton. I mean, you got Jordan Morgan, you got the kid from BYU, you've got there's another kid at Yale. They both have very exotic names, and I'm not sure how to pronounce. Like, there's a lot of really good tackles that can be had a little bit later. And you should be able to justify, if you are the Cardinals, saying, hey, Joe Alt is elite in every bit, but we know that we could get another very good tackle prospect if
Yep.
we decide to go with a different generational prospect.
Cool. Any problems with the Mayor's Mims here? Obviously, this is
None.
definitely not going to happen. But I mean, you're the Cardinals. You're sitting there at 27. What a draft, right? What a first round to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Then to get another bookend tackle opposite of Paris Johnson Jr.
Yeah, this is a slam dunk. I mean, you're getting just a behemoth of a man to be able to plug across from Paris Johnson Jr. The only question I would bring up is you have a defensive minded head coach right now in
Hmm.
Jonathan Gannon, and with 3 first round picks, you have gone offense on all 3 of those picks. So at what point does he want to potentially? I wouldn't say hijack, but when does he want to get his way and start adding some defensive players through the
Yeah.
draft? Because I do think they're going to be aggressive in free agency. Um, I I will say Christian Wilkins is a Cardinal until I'm blue in the face, but they at some point you feel like they have to start using first round picks on defensive players, and you have 2 this year, so it just makes sense to go 1 and 1. But I don't know. That's kind of my thought process with it.
No, and I think we touched on it a little bit before we started the mock. I mean, there's so many holes on this team to fix. Like, if you just go best player available and you draft good guys and you trust your evaluations, like Monty Austin Fort did last year, more times than not, it's probably going to work out for you. I have no problem with them going offense with both picks because the team does need a replacement for DJ Humphries, and then obviously Kyler Murray needs that bona fide playmaker, Marvin Harrison Jr. Pick 35, third pick of the second round, there's a handful of those defensive guys you were talking about earlier. They can go corner, they can go edge. Um, obviously, they can go center, but I don't think that's as pressing as a need right now. Definitely not going to try to upgrade tight end. A lot of defensive interior guys here. I
There
mean,
are.
is there anything you can roll out right away? Obviously, receiver. I don't think it would totally be out of pocket, but there's just other pressing needs for them to address, right?
Yeah, I think right now, after picking Marvin Harrison Jr., you cannot take another receiver with your second round pick. I
Yeah.
think that you take a look maybe in the third round if someone's there. But if you draft another guy, to me, it's a day 4 guy. Right now, you need to take a look at the abundance of defensive players right now because you got Adisa Isaac, you got Ennis Rakestraw Jr., you got Braden Fisk, Chop Robinson, Kamari Lassiter, Chris Braswell that we're just looking at on screen. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those players right now. And I will tell you that with the deficiency that the Cardinals have had at corner, I'm all about Rakestraw here.
Are you okay? Talk to me a little bit about him.
Rakestraw is a physical dude. He's what's the term? The size you want. He
Prototypical, I guess.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
Prototypical. He's
6 foot, 188. Okay.
yeah, he looks the part. And you also look at the Cardinals position right now on the roster with really empty cupboards at the corner spot. We love Garrett Williams on this podcast, but he
Hmm.
needs a partner in crime, and Rakestraw is here available for you. And I would just have a very difficult time passing up on him. I will tell you, I'm also taking a hard look at Kamari Lassiter, but at this pick with Rakestraw and with Lassiter available, I'm taking one of those 2 corners
Okay. I do think we differ here a little bit. Um, you can never really have enough of either corners or edge
or
rushers.
edge rushers, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm following the philosophy of like I would rather build through the trenches than build through the secondary. Um, I know we said we don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. Can we assume here that they get a somewhat prominent defensive guy? If it's not Christian Wilkins, it's somebody else, just to make this a
Yes.
little bit easier for us, so we can go corner here.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you would take one of those two for sure. Is Rakestra slash Lassiter, or I would also be really about Chop Robinson. And I know that Braden Fisk made himself a ton of money
Yeah.
at the combine as well. So you could very much talk me into one of those three. Chop Robinson. So here's the funny thing, and I pose this question to everybody who's watching this in the comments. Would you rather build your defense with a ferocious pass rush and a okay secondary, or an okay pass rush and a ferocious secondary? Because either way is a good way to build your defense. I typically fall in the category of build your pass rush because collapsing the pocket and forcing the quarterback to force footballs is going to lead to turnovers. But I also understand the whole coverage sack uh, philosophy of it. But the reason why I lean with like Registraw here is because you just don't have corners right now, and I do expect them to attack the front seven through the free agency period. But Chop Robinson, just a freak, dude, just a freak of nature. You could really very easily talk me into him right here.
Well, let's boil this down to make it really simple then. And out of Kamari or Rakestra, who do you think would be not even day one? Like who do you think would be better?
Ah, I really don't know. I feel like you could flip a coin,
Okay.
honestly, because I wouldn't be mad either way. Because
Mm,
with Lassiter, it's another guy. You know what you're getting. He's a Georgia Bulldog. Like there is, there are not very many questions about what Lassiter can do for you. So I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Rakestra did play a little bit more in the slot, but I feel like if the Cardinals do add another guy here, they might move Keytrell to the slot. I'd be very interested to see how that plays out. I'm okay with either. Would you want to go just the highest guy on the board in Rakestra?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Okay, perfect. All right, man. So we got our star wide receiver. We have a bully of an offensive tackle to protect Kyler, and then now it just bolstered the secondary with a guy who can immediately come in and then help those younger guys like Garrett Williams, like Keetrell Clark, like Starling Thomas, Antonio Hamilton. I forget if he's a free agent this year or not, but that secondary definitely needs names. I think it was admirable how everybody kind of stepped up last year, but still a lot of room left to work and a lot of room left to grow. I don't foresee the Cardinals jumping in at any point in the second round. I mean, they could. They have what, three third round picks? They could definitely wheel and deal their way into the back end of the second. But I mean, you walk away with the draft haul we have, you can't complain, right? Like,
No,
there's not a right way to go about it, but I mean, those are three really solid players.
yeah, I think right now you take a look at what you just walked away with, and were there trade downs? No, but I don't think you need to trade down in this draft. In fact, I feel like you should be looking to trade up more than anything. Like I said earlier, like you've got so much ammo in this draft right now that to me it would be irresponsible to not want to move up, or at a minimum just make sure you get your guys. This is a very good draft to make sure that you are getting who you want to get. And for the Cardinals here, you just walked into three new starters for your team and three guys who have considerably high upside. Can't be upset with that. I don't care what PFF says about Ricky Straw being a B. I think that that's at worst a B plus pick because I think he could sneak into the first round.
Yeah, and like Rome wasn't built in one day, right? And I think the Cardinals had a very, very good first off season under guys like Austin Fort and Gannon, but like there's still such a long way from really kind of competing and being that playoff team they think they can be down the road. There's certainly different routes you can go about this. I don't know, man. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm looking at Marvin, I'm looking at Mims, I'm looking at a corner early in the second round to help bolster that secondary. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
I would be very happy if I'm a Cardinals fan with these first three picks. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. alone should have everybody just screaming out of their minds. For what it's worth, BJ Ojulari did wear number 8 when he was in college before he was gifted the number 18 by LSU, which, if you know anything about LSU football, number 18 is a captain's number. You have to earn that honor. So if he did give up number 18, he would be probably going back to what was I going to say? Jersey number 8, and currently on the Cardinals.
I can't think of anybody who has number 8, not off the top of my head.
Let's take a look. I'm going to pull up the roster here. Players and notes. I think that number 8 is available.
I think it is. I think number 9 is available now with Dobbs being gone.
Yeah, I don't see anyone with jersey number 8, and it's not a retired number, is it?
I don't think so.
Well, there you go. Tell him to change back to number 8. He's not a captain on this team anyway. So.
Well, I'm sure BJ will make Marv do a little something. Maybe take him to a nice steak dinner, or just to sweeten the deal a little bit, right?
Get shocked with a taser, all those crazy stuff.
Sure, yeah, all the wild stories you hear about giving up numbers.
Oh man, dude, all the rookie hazing BS that they do.
I love it, but
dude, it's so messed up.
We walked away with a guy who can sell jerseys for Michael Bidwell. We walked away keeping Kyler Murray upright and healthy, while also moving people in the running game too for James Conner and whoever else might be toting the rock for the Cardinals. And then much needed help in the secondary. A lot more picks to be made in the draft, and obviously still a very long ways to go if you're the Arizona Cardinals. But I walk out of that draft feeling good. The way the order shaked out, definitely not going to happen. And obviously this is a mock draft just for funds, but any parting thoughts before we go?
No, sir. Awesome. I would give that mock an A, teetering on an A+, because the value you got for Mims pushes it by itself.
Well said, my man. Well said. Well, for Richie Bradshaw, I am Donnie Druin. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the All Cardinals podcast. Follow our work at allcardinals.com or si.com/NFL/Cardinals. Follow Richie on Twitter, or as the cool kids call it, X, at RichieBrads36. Follow me on Twitter at Donnie Druin. And until then, peace.